It's a long-held open secret that the adult video industry is extremely problematic, almost in all aspects from production, casting, scripting, and distribution. Everything within the industry is in the service of capital, with ethical consumption nothing but a second-hand thought, with production companies offering up nothing but empty platitudes towards criticisms of their unhealthy work practices, in worst-case scenarios dipping into immoral territory. From the open racism, sexism, transphobia, and homophobia, all that bad shit, there is a lot of bigoted and problematic shit within the porn industry.
You're making a lot of rice. Are you fucking hungry or what?
No, I'm just... You will see. Can't believe it. You looking for rice?
Yeah, is that for me?
Oh yeah. Want some? Yeah, every time I cook rice, Asian chick show up like that.
It works every time. Huh? What do you do if you cook fried chicken?
You got black girl.
What if you cook pasta or meatballs?
You got Italian girl.
As funny as fuck that is, it's not okay. Stuff like that is not alright. So anyway, in this episode of Pixel Hipster's Existential Nightmare Video Diaries, I mean educational YouTube video, I'll be tackling the topic of mental health and racism in relation to the porn industry. I'll be discussing and shedding light upon aspects of the adult video industry that not a lot of people talk about. I'll be discussing the psychological effects of how pornography affects and is unfair towards men and women. Heads up, if any of the subjects I've mentioned before make you uncomfortable, feel free to leave whenever you want. As I have mentioned before, I will be bringing up things like racism, suicidality, sexual harassment, sexual exploitation, and sexual violence. Also, for the inevitable brainlets who will find this video, you know who you are, the anti-porn, anti-sex work, conservative, sex work, exclusionary radical feminist types. Make sure you watch the entire video and listen very carefully before writing, in all caps, your triggered rants in the comment section below. Okay? Please? Let's keep it civil down there. It's not gonna be civil. So anyway, where do you begin a video talking about the porn industry? It's very difficult. If only I had an ally or just someone on the inside of the porn industry who knew all the hot details, a secret, sexy cultural Marxist, if you would, to share their experience about what really happens behind the scenes. But surely no one who works in porn could be like that. Wait a second. Do you guys hear that? Do you hear that? What's that sound? Could it be?
Take care of it.
Alright. Discord. Alright, are we on? Are we rolling? Are we recording? Can you hear me? Nice. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what do you do, basically.
All right, I'm Xander Corvus. I am an adult film performer, and that's been the last 11 years of my life. I've been started out with Penthouse, and now I'm contracted to the company that owns Brazzers and some stuff like that. I'm also a very white appearing mixed race person. My dad's black, and my mom is like Scandinavian and English and Jewish and a couple other things. And yeah, so it's definitely an interesting place to be in when you look white as hell and you're not.
Part 1. Mental health. Your feelings. I feel like the assumption a lot of people, and especially blokes, hold when discussing the porn industry and adult video entertainers currently is that something akin to scoffing and saying it's a very easy job and doesn't require much skill, because essentially you're just having sex with hot women for a living. But the reality of the porn industry, it's not really that cut and dry. While it's well documented the negative effects porn has on the side of the consumer, big Kuma energy, there isn't a lot of discourse about the mental health of the performers, especially the male performer. There are studies upon studies and articles upon articles talking about how pornography leads to depression, mental health issues, erectile dysfunction, and much more worse shit. There's the uncomfortable statistic that more than 50% of people engaging in online pornographic interactions admit to losing interest in sexual intercourse. Obviously, don't take away from this part that porn will inevitably lead to harm. Like anything, it's a matter of moderation. Excess of anything will inevitably lead to a bad outcome. What I'm getting at here is, I feel like as a society, we still have a very chauvinistic mentality to straight male sexuality. I think in some aspects, especially in the porn industry, we're okay to reducing men to male sex objects because, well, they're having sex and a lot of men are just okay with that.
Unpopular opinion, I think that the legal age to get into porn should be 21. And like everyone who was under 18, like there's like so many people who were just like, well, I'm 18 and I think I'm blah, 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 like all this stuff. And I was like, if you see how like triggered you are by this, like, I think like you're so upset with me for just giving an opinion here. You're kind of proving my point, like right now, you know what I mean? And I was just like, there's nothing to be, because like a lot of people will say like in their stories about like the industry will be like, it affected them negatively when they were younger. And I'm like, yeah, of course it did. Like you see people who are like, yeah, porn stars just end up being like drugs and blah, 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 all this other shit. And, all this, just partying and like, no financial security and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a perfect example of that. Like, I was a fucking idiot for so long. Like, if I would have been in a point in my life where I would have been like in therapy and like known myself a little more and then gotten into porn, I wouldn't have been such a fucking moron for so long. You know what I mean? But a lot of the times, like, these people, like, people get into porn from like a very, like at 18 or something, and then you move to Hollywood, you don't have to wait in lines anymore, you're given everything for free, you get access to like all this shit that you would have never had access to before, and then everybody just tells you you're pretty and placates to you all the time and like does everything for you all the time. Like, of course, like, people are going to go off the rails, not everyone, but of course there's going to be examples of people who just fucking lose their shit. You know what I mean? And like, I think as an industry, one of the best things that's happened is are pushing for mental health awareness and stuff, and the people who are more involved than I am in that. Because we can stop people from going through all these terrible experiences by empowering them and letting them know that, like, for instance, there's this thing called pineapple support, which is what I got my therapist through. And it's like, it's a fund that's like a nonprofit that's built to provide mental health support to sex workers. And it's like, fuck yeah, like that. Why the fuck wasn't that done a long time ago? You know what I mean?
Talking to Xander highlighted how porn stars are probably some of the most vulnerable people in our society. Statistically speaking, the vast majority of them suffer from histories of abuse, physical, mental, and social issues that are often so severe and sometimes even life-threatening. Female performers in particular are especially vulnerable to multiple negative health consequences, including drug addiction, mental health problems, financial hardships, physical trauma, and negative social interactions. What really annoys me is that porn producers take advantage of these vulnerable young men and women on an everyday basis in this era of Me Too, and nobody seems to care. Like, seriously, why doesn't nobody talk about this? Well, I know why. There is still this stigma where people, by and large, condemn individuals for going into the industry to begin with. I feel like those people forget how young most people are when they enter the industry.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think there's nothing, I think it's actually a serious strength to be able to be open about your own, mental health issues and like your own, like the things that you struggle with. Because I think with that kind of open communication and stuff between people, it's much safer, and I don't want to use the word easier, but I will because I can't think of anything better. Easier to like develop like meaningful relationships and stuff if we're all honest about shit. Because if we're all just like lying about the things that bother us or things that we have, issues accepting and all this stuff, then we're just gonna keep the facade on forever and never actually connect.
Yeah. Shit, that's good.
If that makes sense. I don't know.
That's some good. No, I understand what you mean. That's good stuff. Like, what I really like, I feel like a lot of like blokes on the internet, especially like the incel fucking MGTOW red pill troglodyte like manlet types, right? They have like the perception with like you people, like male adult entertainers, right? They think that you're like, oh, you have the shit because you're like, you're an attractive looking fella, you're living the life, you literally just, you fuck like hot chicks for a living. But like obviously, if you think about it, that's gonna take a mental toll on people, and like it's obviously not gonna always be perfect, and like it's a job at the end of the day. Like you're not defined by your career choice at the end of the day. You're more than like your labor. So it's quite interesting, like especially you talking about that. Because you see a lot of I don't really know any male adult entertainers other than you who actually just are just open about this sort of stuff and like talk about it like on the internet. And yeah, like I've seen a few like female people like Mia Khalifa and like Sasha Grey, people who've like left the industry talk about it, but like I think it's just you and also you're still kicking it and doing some great stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really think that that's, like, I understand that everybody has their own experiences, and these things can, like, porn can be, well, I mean, there's a lot of people who kind of, like, I don't know, there are people who blame porn for, like, everything that's gone wrong ever.
88% of scenes in porn films contain acts of physical aggression, and 49 of those scenes contain verbal aggression. In my opinion, a lot of what I recommend in fixing the epidemic of mental health issues facing the modern porn industry is basically the same thing Xander and other sex workers and academics who talk about this subject passionately have to say. Beyond ensuring sex workers have access to mental health services, it's up to the policymakers and the general public to decide how to approach this occupational health crisis. The onus is on us, the Coomers of the world, if you will, to the people who watch the porn, to set a higher standard. The options pushed forward go as followed: mandatory mental health screening before entering the industry, mandated treatment paid for by the industry, and financial penalties for production companies who don't follow these practices.
Why? I just don't get it. I always catch you fuckers watching this sick shit. This is sickening.
Part 2. The BBC Bull. Part 2. The BBC Bull comes to town. So recently, there's this guy. His name is Alex Cobbett. He's a Brit Bonger. He's a living meme. He's so cringe. It's so funny. He's basically famous for being the manlet neo-Nazi. I'll show you a photo here. He's recently published a book called The Fall of Western Man. It's so fucking cringy. Anyway, recently he's been making these string of just like really anti-Semitic like conspiracy videos. He's made a series of them talking about how interracial porn companies are like owned by the Jews, and it's all an elaborate plan to like secretly cuck the white man and shit.
Pornography is an insidious and damaging influence on Western society. It is something that eats away at the fabric of society and helps normalise degeneracy, promiscuity, and of course glorifies interracial sexual relationships. Engage in sexual acts with one or more black partners. Because what better way to attack white society and morality than to show fresh-faced young European girls being sexually dominated and sodomized by African males.
I've seen this a lot recently with all the interracial sex that they've been pushing in pornography. They're putting white girls in there now who are having intercourse with black men, and then they're pushing that even further, saying if you don't like this, you're racist, blah blah, debased degeneracy.
Well, that's a very good point, because it really furthers what we were saying earlier about the nature of porn being an attack on the West, an attack on beauty. And one of the most notable sites that does this is a site called Blacked. Now, it's owned by a Jewish pornographer, again, a Jew, called Greg Lansky. Jew.
He went on like this like unhinged rant about the owner of Black.com, because apparently the owner of Black.com is Jewish.
The Jewish man he's speaking of doesn't own the company. He's just the main dude for that directs for that. It's like hey, trust me, I know this person personally. He's not he wouldn't be capable of scheming something that well. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're giving him too much credit, I promise.
As funny as it is to joke about the BBC bulls and the Tyrones fucking all the white women and creating a Mayo-side, there's a lot of insidious parts about how this sort of representation affects human psychology. Statistically speaking, first exposure to pornography among men is about 12 years old on average. Around 55% of men said that porn was their only form of sexual education. Just from Pornhub's 2019 demographic statistics alone, the vast majority of people who consume porn are on the younger side. People above the age of 65 making up only 4%, people between 55 and 64 making up 7%, 45 and 54 making up 13%, 35 and 44 making 18%, 25 to 34 making 28%, and 18 to 24 making up a huge 30%. This is why porn can be seen as very damaging in a social context. A lot of these bigoted stereotypes are ingrained into people's minds from a very young age, and for the most part, it is their only form of sexual education. You know, the black.coms of the world. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Like, obviously I don't have the same experience that a lot of my, black sex worker comrades have had to go through. Like my black appearing sex worker comrades have had to go through, like, because of the way I look. And I know that's privilege. I get that white privilege, and I probably didn't even recognize that for a long time. But over the last 5 years or so, I would say I definitely have really had my eyes open to that. A lot because I was just drunk as fuck all the time. I was an alcoholic for a lot of my life, my adult life. But yeah, I mean, when you kind of sober up and really look at things, I definitely got a much easier pass than having to be typecast and forced into positions a lot of black performers are forced into.
A very fucked up thing I learned while doing research for this video is that women of color in the porn industry are paid half to 3/4 of that of their white counterparts. It solidifies and also validates this racist narratives that people like to spin about this Jewish conspiracy. The Goyim is being destroyed by the BBC bulls, and the Tyrones are gonna fuck all the white women. But they're not doing. The problem is they're not doing it for any political agendas. They're doing it because it's profitable, and the racists are making it more profitable. Because the biggest,
and you can find it's crazy. Like, you can find the consumers of that, when they have the maps up. Yeah. Like Pornhub will do this sometimes. They'll show
I'm looking at the stats.
They have statistics on regional statistics. Yeah. And you'll find in the deepest reddest states is the most BBC searches in the world. You know what I mean? It's just
crazy. I was so surprised to find that out. It's just obviously I thought this was made for white girls and black guys, but when you look at the data, it says no. The biggest consumer of this is white men. And I'm like, but why?
Yep.
it's crazy.
No, it is fucking Because it's not about, and not one time ever. I'm gonna stand on I'm gonna die on this hill. Not one time ever has one of those white men who's watching this be like, wow, interracial relationships are just so beautiful. That's never been the thought. It's not what they're thinking.
We all know manlet Nazis like Alex Colbert here jerk off and coom and cry to websites like black.com. In a new study, researchers offered a paradoxical hypothesis that the greater predominance of right-leaning ideologies are associated with a greater preoccupation with sexual content in private internet activity. Another report conducted by research companies indicated similar findings concerning the Bible Belt in particular. Apparently, repressed Christians have a massive appetite for pornography. Who would have thought? Oh my god, really? Those guys? The pedophiles? The Catholic Church? Really? They're fucking sexual deviants? At the end of the day, we can only speculate as to why there is such a strong connection between consumption of porn, right-wing ideology, and professed conservative Christian values. Not very conservative if you ask me. But at the end of the day, there is a direct correlation between porn, and especially interracial porn, and right-wing ideology. To finish off this section, let's just all remember here, none of this stuff is popular because of some elaborate cultural Marxist conspiracy, okay? Mark Zuckerberg and the boys aren't secretly in a room somewhere finding ways to cuck the white man out of existence through the pornographic media, okay? as much as I wish that was happening, because that would be fucking amazing. Why there is a prevalence for this sort of media is because, well, in short, it's profitable and it's controversial. This is good for the production company's bottom line, to have people riled up, to have people who simultaneously hate the porn they watch but also still enjoy it and watch it anyway. This weird sort of right-wing, I fucking hate the getting cucked, but also I love it because the Tyrones are gonna fuck me white woman or some bullshit. I don't get it. Fucking, I don't judge if that's your thing. Alright, let's move it on. This is too cringe now. I'm gonna level with you. I'm gonna get a little Alex Jones here. I'm someone who genuinely thinks that the government secretly subsidizes the porn industry. That has no relevance to the subject of this video. I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, I've been thinking about this for a long time and I wanted to put on this tinfoil hat. They're putting chemicals in the porn that turn the freaking frogs gay.
Hold on, let me grab a soda real quick.
Yeah,
no, I love. Oh yeah, I got a little mini fridge here.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, like humble. Was that a humble brag? I don't know.
It's weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I built it myself.
Yeah. Oh shit. Nice. Pornography is going to exist in one form or another, whether we like it or not. It's on the onus of us to make the production of pornography ethical and equitable as possible. That means keeping sex workers safe and keeping these places clean and not a hostile work environment. While I would love to live in a world without prostitution, objectification, and sex work and all that stuff, unfortunately that is just untenable. What I would like to see in the coming decade is mainstream pornography more equally distribute their objectification and maybe get rid of a lot of these bigoted stereotypes. Make men sexy again, that's what I say. You know what, we'll take some of the sexuality away from the women, chuck it to the men's, all good. Problem solved. Something that was very illuminating for me when I spoke to Xander was just his willingness to talk about his feelings and just really open up about the shit he's experienced and the stuff he has to deal with. His willingness to talk about his feelings and his speaking about his ongoing struggles with addiction and alcoholism. Hashtag real men cry, and that is, let me just say, real alpha male shit. It was honestly really shocking and just how down to earth he was, because at the end of the day, porn stars are people. It's a weird thought to first get your head around, but it's true. The thing I love about Xander the most is he's not trying to sound smarter than he is. He's not trying to prove something with his politics. He doesn't want to be a leader. He doesn't want to do this because he wants to beat someone or he hates someone or something. He's not doing what he does because it's easy. God knows. Everyone knows that. He's not doing what he does because it works, because fuck, it hardly ever does. He does what he does because it's right and it's decent. And above all, it's just kind. I feel like a lot of people need to turn their Kuma brains off and just listen to what sex workers have to say. Because if you stop and really listen, you might learn a thing or two. Going forward, I'd love to see the indie scene of porn grow and be supported much more. So let me just say, support your 10k sub Andy hentai artists on Twitter. If you see someone who does really great drawings or like sexy fan art of like anime characters you like, give them some money. If you see a cute girl or guy you like and they're doing some really cool stuff on OnlyFans, chuck them a few dollars. All memes aside, OnlyFans is really good, giving more safety and freedom to creators and sex workers. So yeah. Just don't be a fucking creepy simp about it, okay? Just don't be weird, guys. Simping is wrong. Hashtag MGTOW, hashtag No Nut November, hashtag political correctness has gone crazy. Fuck me. Fucking death to all simps. Kill the simps. I'm gonna hold them up by chain and gut them. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass. I'm sorry, I'm fucking losing my mind. Yeah. Just to end this off, what kind of advice would you give to young people, especially like young men who are thinking about getting into the industry and like talking about the pros and cons and the pitfalls of that sort of entertainment and the business of it? If you could like tell your younger self or like someone in a similar position to you, like someone very young, like 18 or 19 or 21 sort of thing.
I would say don't fall for all the glamour stuff. Take this seriously as a job, not as like, you're as a party tool. Get somebody to fucking do your taxes, like right now.
Get an accountant,
and then
an actual accountant.
Get an actual accountant. Don't forget your real name is like one of the most important things I think that I say to people getting into this industry, because I've seen a lot of people come in and like they're like this really just
embracing their persona
thing. Yeah, and then they're like humble and cool and like sane, and then after a little while you see some people just become that stage name, and the person that they were is just kind of buried so deep behind the facade of like who they're trying to come off as. So also get a therapist immediately. Make sure that your mental health is paramount the whole time that you're doing this.
Anyway, oh cool. Well, we're done. Fuck, that was good. Good shit. Oh, I've got some fat memes in that. I'm so happy.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。
Hello, mateys. Hey, mates, how's it doing? Why am I talking like this? Welcome to the end of the video. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Not many people do if you're looking at my YouTube analytics. Kill me. Anyway, remember to hit that bell. Just fucking hit it. Hit it like Xander Corvus smashing a hot girl's pussy. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do you agree with sex work? Are you pro-sex work? Are you anti-sex work? What do you want to know? I don't know. I'm so tired. I need to finish editing this video. Join the Discord if you want to debate or just talk or just shoot the shit. There's a lot of cool stuff going in there. I'm not really in charge. I kind of just like set like 2 of my subscribers as like the mods, and they're doing their stuff. So it's fun though. It seems like fun. Anyway, if you want to listen to the full interview that I had with Xander Corvus, my boy, it's up on Patreon. So yeah, just give me $2. Speaking of Patreon, oh what a fucking segue that was. Yeah, thank you to all my Patreons. They keep my show afloat, even though I have a terrible fucking upload schedule and I don't upload things they want me to upload. Sorry. If you watch, I would love to do this full time. So please give me money, and yeah, that would be great. If you want, anyway, onto my Patreon question. 80 asks, if you were a professional wrestler, what would your gimmick be? I would be a heel wrestler, and my gimmick would be that I would be just constantly drunk. just like rock up to this like the ring just like hammered. And then like halfway through the match, I'll just like get down from the ring and just like scull a few beers. I don't know, I thought that'd be funny. I think maybe someone has done that before, but that'd be fun. Alright, see ya. I'm done. Bye. I love you all. Much love. Good vibes. Death to simps.